broader digital strategy, and I believe you are working on this. Policy stability and digital sovereignty. Central to our work is the protection and strengthening of Ghana's digital sovereignty. The ministry is accelerating reforms that promote one, data localization and domestic cloud services, fair competition and open access, infrastructure sharing to reduce duplication, and policy clarity that encourages investments and innovation. A resilient national fiber, a resilient national exchange fabric such as GIS ensures that our internet traffic remains within Ghana when possible, reducing the risk related to foreign routing, global outages, or geopolitical disruptions. Now, coming back to economic value, driving down cost and driving up competitiveness. Local traffic exchange through GIS offers clear economic benefits. One of them is to reduce reliance on expensive international transit. Two, improve speed and performance for businesses and consumers. Three, greater efficiency for fintech, streaming and cloud services. Every cedi saved on transit cost is a credit reinvested into infrastructure upgrade, coverage, expansion, and customer experience. We're looking at inclusion, access, and human capital. A digital economy must serve every Ghanaian. Government continues to invest heavily in the 1 million coder program, girls in ICT, community ICT centers, and rural broadband expansions through partnership with private operators. In addition, we are supporting talent development for network engineers, cyber security professionals, cloud specialists, and data governance experts. Without skilled technical talent, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, infrastructure alone cannot carry our digital ambition. So what is the strategic role of GIS? The Ghana Internet Exchange is more than infrastructure facility. It is a national strategic asset that enables efficient local traffic exchange, stronger cybersecurity posture, better performance for government platforms, reduced dependence on international cables, and cost-efficient operations for ISPs. As Ghana expands e-government, e-health, edutech, and digital business services, GIS becomes central to safeguarding our data, improving service speed, and supporting national digital sovereignty. Now a call to action. So a call for stronger industry collaboration. To our industry players, we urge continued collaboration in the following areas. One, deepen infrastructure sharing to reduce operational duplication. Two, increase investments in network engineering and cybersecurity talents. Three, support localization of content and services. And the fourth one, participate actively in strengthening GIS. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's digital future rests on the collective decisions we make today. Together, we must build a digital ecosystem that is one resilient, sovereign, inclusive, innovative, and globally competitive. Government stand fully committed to working with GISPA and all stakeholders to expand connectivity, strengthen GIS, and unlock regional digital growth for Ghana. On behalf of the Honorable Minister, I want to thank GISPA for its leadership and wish you productive deliberations today. We look forward to your final recommendation. Thank you, and may God bless our homeland.
How they are going or their expectations, as far as the digital, economy is concerned. And we think that for us to be able to succeed or to support the government to be able to achieve their drive, it is important that we look at the policy, because the policy affects whatever happens within the industry, and we are also looking at the infrastructure. We need to invest more in the infrastructure to ensure that the infrastructure is able to deliver the expectation that we are all looking for, which is the digital economy. And then we are looking at, okay, what network or what connectivity can bring us together and can help us to achieve this at lower cost and with better experience. And it's the Ghana Internet Exchange Point, where we expect that local players will be interconnected for us to exchange traffic locally, and for content to be shared locally, in order that we can bring down the cost, and then ultimately for our customers or consumers to have better experience and better rates as far as the use of the internet is concerned. So what we are looking at is that there's complaint from consumers all over, where they are complaining that data is expensive in Ghana. And we think that this is a time for us to discuss the way forward, and to see how we can all together, with all the stakeholders working together, work to bring down the cost of internet. Ultimately, that is what the consumer is looking for. The minister did, the Minister of Communication did something recently, where he engaged the telcos to have some reduction in terms of the data, the price and it has helped to some extent. And people are looking forward to a further reduction as far as the data price is concerned in Ghana.
Digital space that we have. We need to be able to provide these means, and already there are a lot of works in place. But the most important thing that we need to do is to be able to collaborate, where we share these skills, and to also to be able to invite people to be knowledgeable in this space and do good things within our digital space. A lot of policies now in place, but the good thing is that policies will translate into laws, and also other frameworks are also under review. So when you take, for example, within even the most basic technology we are using now within our mobile or the telecom space, you have some of the laws which have been amended for us to be able to now, you see, we have interoperability in terms of mobile money and other technologies. But what is helping us also now is that when you even look even at our internet bundles, before you would just have one package, but you have different bundles now you can buy at different rates, where you can be able to access the internet. That's policy-wise. Otherwise, is that people now also have ability to be able to communicate with the regulator, and to also communicate with whatever issues that they have, where there are responses from the regulator and other policy frameworks. Currently, under the ministry, all the laws have been posted on the website, where people have been invited to give comments. So you see how open it is, that people are now, or the citizenry are invited to be participatory, and it's open for us to be part
So, today we're here celebrating Ghana's Internet Exchange, which has been set up by GISPA, which is an association of internet service providers that was started in something like 2000. So it's been around for a long time. But as Ghana becomes more and more digitally advanced, we're just recognizing the importance of the Internet Exchange, because it's the point at which all networks interconnect. It's a platform that can keep our content and our traffic local, that can help improve speeds and bring down costs. So it's really important that we're all connected to the Internet Exchange, and that's what we've been gathered for here today. We've talked a lot about policies, and we know there's a lot of policy reviews going on at the moment. And one of the things we acknowledge is how there's been a lot of opportunity for the public to contribute, to provide comments and concerns, or celebrate the parts of the policy and the bills that we like. And we know now that the various ministries and parts of the ministry are coming together to really take on board the contributions that the public has made and see how we want to adapt and reform and really make sure that these policies are structured to enable the sector. We've also talked about that today, where we don't want to think of our regulators as restrictors, but really as enablers that create the environment in which we can all perform optimally. So we don't want equipment that doesn't meet certain standards coming into Ghana. We want to make sure if someone is certified, that really the institution that certified them has the capability, etc., to certify and make sure that our human resources have the capabilities that we need. But we also looked at lots of challenges. So from fiber cuts, that was one that we spoke a lot about. Still the cost of the internet and making sure that we have multiple cables, even more cables than we have today, landing in Ghana. We talked about wooing the big players like Amazon and so on to come into Ghana and have their servers, etc., also at the Internet Exchange. And we talked a lot again about our citizens and making sure that our education system really makes sure that people come out of school technically abreast and ready for a very modern world. And lastly, we talked about local content creation and making sure that we're not just consumers of international content and applications, but we create ourselves, and the role of the Ghana.com, the .gh, sorry, and making sure that we get to the point where it's really easy to register your .gh domain, and that we wear that as our national identity, loud and proud, telling the world we're from Ghana. So it's been a good discussion. And I think we've highlighted the importance of really having one platform that all players can come together and really share and advance our sector. Taking on board feedback from the public around all of these policies and making sure that once the policies go through Parliament, there's a long journey ahead for these policies. But once they are the final document, the final policy, we want to make sure that they are not just a document, but there's actually an action plan on how these policies would be implemented. So that was one call. Another call that we had for government was to be leaders, example setters. So we should really be even further forward than we are today when it comes to registering a license online or paying a tax online, etc. So we want to see further advancement there. There was also the call for more improvement in the laws around protecting our fiber infrastructure, our digital infrastructure, and more penalties, really enforcing penalties for the various contractors that damage the infrastructure, that results in poor service and more cost, etc. So I think there were other calls for government, but those are the ones that come to my mind as we wrap up.
And then again, I want to.
Yeah, so that's something we talked about today. We know that we have GISPA, where traditionally the ISPs were, but we have some telcos part of GISPA as well. They're also internet service providers. Then we have what has always been called the telco chamber, but today, the telcos themselves don't think of themselves as telcos. There's the digital chamber that the mobile money operators are under. There's the fintech. So really, we think that with the limited resources we have, it would be important for us to be able to come together and really have a uniform platform space where we can really be united in driving Ghana's digital journey forward and not operating in splintered groups. It's easier said than done, but we believe there'll be real wins if we can come together.
So it was basically the GISPA, Ghana ISP Association, came to talk to us about the use of jigs which is apparently the Ghana Internet Exchange. So basically, it's about how there's a network link that is brought to us instead of going all the way over international links. So that one is more simple, is more faster, and I believe the practical experience is very good for a lot of people. I learned that instead of going a long way or rerouting along across the internet, there's a very simple way and a very faster way that all this can be done. So I believe every year or as often as people can, they should partake in this training.
I've
It's very
had the
helpful.
opportunity to be in the digital space for some time now, and what I would say about it is it's been a bit challenging. It's been good to me. I've learned one or two things from it, and I will advise that there should be more training and more conferences held so that we'll be able to the layman will be able to have access to the digital space so that it will make work easier for us. So that's why I said training and more conferences will help with the. We should go to the villages, especially the villages. Most of them are new to digitalizations. So I think that will help with the challenges, one of the challenges I mentioned.
This GISPA section was very impactful. I might say when I was coming, I didn't have so much knowledge about internet and the ISP and all the other stuff. But today I realized that when it comes to connectivity, GISPA is doing a very good work that it's setting up local connections. So our data that we have here doesn't go elsewhere. We can keep our data and use it for our own good. And I realized that data is a very crucial part of our economy. If you are able to harness the data, we'll be able to use that data to improve our future and do so many extraordinary things.